You know, in the world of data, numbers can tell a story, but sometimes they're not telling the whole story. So today, on The Explainer, we're going to go full data detective and uncover the truth hidden inside a really simple report. A truth that, you'll see, most people completely miss.
So let's dive right in. Here's our case file. We've got 4 different email campaigns, and each one has its own set of performance data. Now the question seems simple enough, right? Which one was the most successful? But, as any good detective knows, the obvious answer, well, it isn't always the right one.
So you look at this, and at first glance, email 1 looks like an open and shut case. I mean, look at it. It's got the most deliveries, the highest open rate, and the best click rate. You think, done, that's the winner, and just move on. But are we really sure that's the whole story?
This is where a lot of people get tripped up. They start chasing what we call vanity metrics. And these are numbers that, yeah, they look great on the surface, but they don't actually tell you what you really need to know. They're like these shiny clues that are super tempting, but they're ultimately pretty incomplete.
Yeah, it's so easy to get dazzled by a high open rate, like 8.19%. I mean, that feels good, right? But think about it. An open is a pretty passive thing. It doesn't tell us if the content actually connected with someone or if that person took any kind of meaningful action.
So you gotta ask yourself, is this open rate a real clue that's leading us to the answer, or is it just a red herring, designed to throw us off the scent? To be a really good data detective, you have to look deeper. It's not just about who opened the email, it's about what did they do next.
Okay, so the next logical step, of course, is to look at the click rate. And at 2.69%, yeah, that's a much better sign of action. Someone actually cared enough to click a link. But there's a hidden trap here. There's a really crucial detail that most people just completely overlook. And this right here is the critical question you have to ask. What is this a percentage of? See, that 2.69%, it isn't based on the people who actually saw and read the email. Nope, it's based on the entire list of 965 people. That includes everyone who ignored it, everyone whose spam filter caught it, everyone. And that context, it changes everything.
All right, so to really solve this thing, we need to cut through all the noise from these surface level stats. We've got to focus on the one metric that shows us true, undeniable engagement. This, right here, is where we crack the case.
And this slide just perfectly highlights that shift in thinking. The common mistake? Measuring clicks against the entire pool of recipients, all the noise included. The detective's insight? You isolate the interested people, the ones who actually open the email, and you measure what percentage of that specific group took the next step. So this much better metric actually has a name. It's called the click-through open rate, or CTOR for short. And what it tells you is how compelling your message was, but only to the audience that actually saw it. See, this isn't a measure of just reach, it's a measure of impact. And that's what we care about, right? This is the key that cracks this whole case wide open.
Okay, so now that we're armed with our secret weapon, the CTOR, let's go back to our original suspects and apply this new lens to the evidence we've got.
All right, let's crunch the numbers for our front runner, email 1. So the raw evidence shows that 79 people opened it. And then out of that specific group of 79, 26 people went on to click a link. Now, to find our true engagement rate, that CTR we were talking about, the formula is super simple. We just divide the number of clicks by the number of opens. That's it.
And that simple bit of math, well, it reveals the real story. A massive 32.91%. That is the number that matters. Think about it. Nearly a third of the people who actually bothered to read the email took action. That's huge.
And just to be sure, when we run the same numbers for email 2, its CTOR comes out to 27.50%. Still really good for sure, but not the winner. So our initial hunch? It was right. Email 1 was the champion. But here's the difference. Now we have the evidence. We know why. We didn't just guess, we actually solved the case by focusing on the metric that tells the true story. But this was never really just about email marketing. The real takeaway here is the approach. It's this data detective's mindset. It's a way of looking past the obvious stuff to find the real story underneath. And you can apply this, well, almost anywhere. There's this really powerful idea that says, how you do anything is how you do everything. And it's so true. The same kind of critical thinking that helps you uncover the truth in a spreadsheet, that's the same thinking that leads to breakthroughs in your career, in your projects, in your learning, in everything.
So it all comes down to a simple code, a kind of data detective's code.
First, don't be fooled by surface numbers. Second, always dig deeper for the context behind the data. Third, constantly ask yourself, what do these numbers really represent? And finally, own the whole story, not just one little piece of the puzzle.
So the question I want to leave you with is this. Now that you have this data detective's mindset, where are you going to apply it first? What other obvious numbers in your work or just in your life might be hiding a much more interesting and much more truthful story?
On January 1st, the world will experience something unlike anything. It is the day the Hustleverse officially makes its debut. Welcome to the Hustleverse will be the first installment of the greatest collection of edutainment music to ever be created for the Hustleverse, and your first opportunity to get access to a movement designed to inspire, motivate, and fuel real hustlers. 2026 album of the year has arrived, and this is just the beginning.
Yeah. Everybody got a speech. Everybody got a quote. But when it's time to lift something heavy, that's when you see who's real. Talkers and builders. It's talkers and builders. Same room, different mission. One sell a dream with a smile. One bring tools for the fix. One love the sound of success. One love the word when it's missing. So I move with the builders, cause the fruit tell the difference. I seen them type facts, then they vanish when it's action. Whole timeline full of hype but no traction. They know every saying, every caption, every line, but can't produce one result if you give them the time. They'll debate you for hours, try to win with a phrase, while a builder take 10 minutes and change his whole day. I ain't mad at talking, words can spark a flame, but if it don't turn to work, it's just smoke with a name. I come from where the block had to share. If one got to play, we made room at the chair. Now I watch these lone wolf types bragging online. Hold back in they bio, but they die on that grind. So I built me a system, put a map in the dirt, cause the truth ain't loud, it's consistent at work. If you can't carry bricks, don't call it love. I'm building a legacy, not a comment club. It's talkers and builders, same room, different mission. One sell a dream with a smile. One bring tools for the fixing. One love the sound of success. One love the word when it's missing. So I move with the builders, yeah, cause the fruit tell the difference, yeah. I used to take it personal, like why they don't support. Then I learned most folks clapping got no strength to live more. Yeah, they tired from their own stones. They drowning in their own doubt. So they cheer for a second, then disappear when you're out. Hey, but I still keep receipts, cause patterns don't lie. If you only show up when it's easy, you not mine. See, a builder ain't perfect, builder bruising still here. Builder shaky some days, but he faithful to fear. Builder asks for the blueprint, not the gossip, not the tea. Builder say, show me steps, not tell me what to believe. Talker love being seen, camera hungry, ego fed. Builder love being solid, hands dirty, goes ahead. Talker chase validation like a drug in the night. Builder chase elevation, turn pain into a light. So when I pick my circle, I ain't picking by fame, I'm picking by effort. It's talkers and builders, same room, different mission. Different mission. One sell a dream with a smile. One bring tools for the fixes. One love to work when it's missing. I move with the builders. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The decision day, yeah, that fork in the road. Either stay in the crowd or commit to the code. Cause legacy get messy when your message ain't clear. They'll fight over who you were in a race while you're here. So I speak with precision, no fog in my tone. Who I am, what I do, what I'm building, set in stone. I'm building with believers, not browsers on the fence. Cause I like what you're doing, ain't the same as investment. Some can share a link, but can they help you build? Can they hold you accountable when you're ready to quit? Can they tell you the truth when your feelings get loud? Can they stay 10 toes when the wave hit the crowd? That's a builder, someone solid when the spotlight gone. Someone playing with you daily till the harvest long. So if you want the freedom, bring discipline too. Cause the talk feel good, but the bill pull you through. Yeah. Talkers make noise, builders make history. Choose who you are and choose who you build with.
None of them want you to succeed without them. That's something that I had to learn a long time ago. I don't care who it is, your favorite guru, your favorite online coach or mentor, they have secrets, they have blueprints, they have strategies that work. But there's one flaw within 95% of their strategies. All of their strategies require that you stay beholden to them. When was the last time that you've come up with your own concepts, your own ideas, your own business that was solely yours? Now, everybody will tell you the best way to make money online is to sell somebody else's product, service, and you can earn a commission. But what happens if that person or that business somehow disappears? What if that company goes out of business? Then your business is gone along with it. So this is my recommendation for anyone who's just starting out in the online world. If it's affiliate marketing, digital marketing, whatever it is that you want to call it, if you want to make money online long term, then your main goal is to learn the necessary skills so that you can apply it to whatever it is that you have a passion for. Something that you can control, something that you can do today, tomorrow, and for the rest of your life. So when it comes to coaching and mentoring, find the right person to learn from, but don't stay beholden to their particular product or service. Get your own so that you can have something that's built for longevity. See you guys in the next video.
I give you food for action, don't choke on the truth. This lesson I prepare was made just for you. Feast up, I'll keep serving till the pot run dry. Got enough cooking to feed the whole country, no lie. Too many flavors, you know, I got what you like. Don't start beefing with me, you won't win this fight. If you come in peace, keep your teeth intact. I got a plan to get this cake, come grab a stack. Life could be sweet, if you listen, you'll see. Food for action on a platter, served fresh by me. I'm serving knowledge on plates, got the recipe down. A blend of hustle and wisdom, that's my sound. I'm feeding the masses, no crumbs, full course. But if you bring nothing to the table, find the door. Stop acting like you got beef, it won't taste right. This flavor's reserved for those ready.
Okay, family, we are live. We are live. And this is a special, earlier, 1 hour early edition of the Hustlers 10-minute a day challenge. Today is strong 45, day 1, and we are right at 15 minutes into today's challenge. So I want to thank you guys for being here. Hopefully you got enough time to take advantage of, getting access to the most valuable document in all of online marketing as I pull back the curtain. And hopefully, during that intro, Hopefully you got more value in that intro than you've gotten in most people's complete live. That's my aim. That's my goal. It's to go above and beyond and to provide you with the value that you won't receive anywhere else. Now, that beginning training, that was amazing. Another amazing training by one of my favorite business partners, AI. And after the training, right, we jump right into that most inspiring, most inspirational, most motivating, one of the most powerful songs in all of online marketing, that Talkers and Builders track. That gets me going. I'm glad I came up with that song right there for, that's featured on the album of the year for 2026. That Welcome to the Hustleverse album, right? So we have a lot of stuff going on. Now today, I had to start an hour earlier, and that's because I have a 10 o'clock appointment that I have to make. So I want to make sure that I'm on time for my appointment. So, we got to do what we have to do. Now there's a lesson in that, and I always find a lesson in everything that occurs. So when situations pop up, you have to make a decision what you're going to do, how you're going to respond to it. Now we know for a fact that most people, they like to procrastinate. They like to slow roll things. They like to take their time and, hey, I'll think about it. I'll do it later. They have that I'll do it later mentality. But what I found is that most times, 9 times out of 10, something often happens later that prevents you from doing the thing that you should have done earlier. So I had the option. I could have went to my 10 o'clock appointment and then came back home and then did the Hustlers 10 minute a day challenge, right? I could have did that, but that would have been putting it off. But instead I decided that, hey, I'm gonna just get up earlier. I'm gonna get started earlier. I want to get to it as soon as possible because I don't want to run the risk of something coming up after and something coming up that prevents me from being consistent. Now, this is strong 45. That means this has been 45 weeks of consistently bringing you the Hustlers 10 minute a day challenge, Monday through Friday. Now, this is the one time that I'm presenting it to you an hour earlier, but I'd rather be early than to be late. Now, if I was late, then a lot of people, the people that show up, the people that are betting that you're not going to show up, they get a smile on their face when situations like that occur. Because some people, honestly, they want you to fail. They want to see you slip. They're just waiting for that one moment where you don't show up. Now, you can show up 99 times out of 100, but that 100th time when you don't show up, that gives them ammunition. That gives them fuel to say, oh, I knew it. I knew it. I knew they're not who they say they were. I knew it was something about that person that I couldn't trust. People are looking for every little reason just to make themselves feel better about not taking action. But I do everything possible on a daily basis to make sure that I never give them that satisfaction. So even if it means me having to get up earlier to get done what I have to get done, that's what I'm going to do. And that's what you have to do. So situations come up and you always have to be prepared for those situations and you have to make adjustments. So those are the type of people that I'm looking to partner with and build with. Just like that song, Talkers and Builders. A lot of people talk a good game. And especially come Monday, what we consider to be Take Your Heart Back Monday. Everybody says, hey, well, I'm going to start at the beginning of the week. I'm going to start on that Monday. I'm going to decide to take action. I'm going to do what's necessary. I'm going to make it happen. But then Monday comes, 8 a.m., and they're looking at the clock. I'll put it off till 9 o'clock. I'll put it off till 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock comes, something else pops up. I'll do it at 11. And the cycle keeps continuing. Before no time, it's Tuesday. And then the momentum starts to dissipate. They start to say to themselves, okay, well, I'll do it later on today. Now the gap starts to widen. Now it's no longer a sense of urgency because they've already disappointed themselves on Monday. They already set the tone that, hey, I already didn't show up at this time. So, who will really care if I don't show up now? You have to change that mindset. Now, once again, I always tell you guys that in online marketing, 90 to 95% of the job is mindset. You have to have the proper mindset and you have to have the right hustle. You have to be willing to hustle on a daily basis, no matter what. Now, I know people have reasons, and some of those reasons are simply excuses. I don't accept excuses. I don't accept that, hey, I had to do this, I had to do that, when you knew that if you were to have just gotten up a little bit earlier, you would have had the time. You would have been able to make the right decision. And then the rest of the day, it doesn't matter what happens the rest of the day because you would have gotten done what it is that you need to have gotten done. So today I want to talk to you guys about something that I did not today, but a while back, probably over a year ago. See, I do things early, and a lot of times people don't know. Some of the things that I show you today have been things that I've been working on for weeks, months, or even years. I didn't just wake up this morning, this person that I am. It's been over 10, 15 years of putting in this work, of recognizing what's in the industry, what's missing, and what needs to be replaced. So I've been strategizing and implementing different things that I've seen over the course of time. And once again, my aim is to deliver to you the things that you won't receive anywhere else. Now it's not, you know, it's average to just do what everybody else is doing. You can get the same cookie cutter information from everywhere else. What makes you different? Well, I'm gonna tell you what makes me different. Fact that I know that you can get the regular average information everywhere else, and I avoid giving you the average. I want to give you extraordinary. I want to give you something else to think about so that once when you go and you experience the average, yeah, that the average might still be valuable. It's still valuable, but now you have an alternate perspective, another way of looking at things so that you can put them all together. And as I stated in that last video, you can put it together and build something of your own. My goal is to make sure that you're self-sufficient. Whether you want to partner with me or not, I hope that you see the value in partnering with me, not being a customer of mine. See, that's another one of those faults, one of those guru traps. They want you to just be a customer. Every other week, every other month, there's a new product or service to be sold to you, something that they want you to buy. Now, customers are great, but you're not supposed to be a customer. There's a difference between a person that's a customer and a person that's a business partner. Just like there's a difference between investing in an affiliate marketing product as compared to buying a product in the store. Now, if you go to the store and let's say you're going to Best Buy or wherever, a big box store, and you're going to buy a TV. Now, you have a particular goal in mind for, why you want to buy a TV. You want to be entertained. So your purpose is to buy a TV for the purpose of a result for yourself. You ending up acquiring a product that will entertain you. Now, as an affiliate marketer, your goal is to invest in products and services with the hopes of providing a solution to a mass amount of other people. Jim Rohn said this over and over, and it's been repeated by others over and over and over again, but it remains a fact. The more people you help get what they want, the more you'll be able to get what you want. So it's all about mindset. Don't be a product buyer. Be an be an investor in opportunities. Be a business partner, not a customer. So today I want to pull up a different doc real quick for you guys because I'm not going to keep you too long because I want to make sure that I'm ready and I do what I need to do in order to be ready for my 10 o'clock meeting, right? But I want to talk to you about this picture right here. Now, mind you, like I stated, this right here was created a while back, right? Over a year ago. So the AI, the picture, the technology here, it's a little outdated. I didn't change or update the picture, but the picture is still valid. It represents what Monday used to represent. You know that old term, heart attack Monday, right? And as you can see in this picture, there's somebody sitting outside. There's somebody that's enjoying the environment. They're amongst the bees, leaves, and the trees. So as I look outside, I'm able to see the trees. I'm able to see birds flying by. I'm able to see the cars driving by. That's right within my scope of view. Then you have an individual that's sitting at his desk. As it says right here, it's 9 a.m. on his monitor. So he's just about to clock in for work. But he's clutching his chest because the anxiety of what he knows his day is going to bring for him is starting to set in, and it's red. He's clutching his chest because why? Because he's about to have that sudden onset of a heart attack. Now he might be able to clutch his chest and hold on, and it might pass, right? It might just pass and he'll be fine. But just the pain of that is so sharp. You can see the look on his face. He's pretty hurt. And he knows that this is something that's going to continue unless he change his habits, unless he changes his mindset, unless he takes action and do things a different way. So this document that I created, I want to share with you guys. This one right here was titled Monday Morning Stress is Killing You. Discover what could be your lifeline. So this is similar around the world, but when I created it, it was specifically based on United States heart attack statistics based on various categories. So since I'm in the US, I focus on what's most relevant to me, right? So let me just zoom in just a little bit as I'm looking at my monitor, right? Which is a little distance away. Of course, don't fault me. That's why I wear glasses, right? To make sure that I can see everything that I need to see. We're going to zoom in for you and for me. So there's certain categories and different things that's related to heart attacks. And I learned this years ago about what used to be called Heart Attack Monday, right? But now we call it Take Your Heart Back Monday. But before, there was specific stats. Now, one was days of the week. It says Mondays. Research indicates that heart attacks are more likely to occur on Mondays than on any other day of the week. This is often attributed to the stress associated with returning to work after the weekend. Some Some studies suggest that the risk of a heart attack on Monday is about 20% higher than on other days. So these are stats. These are things that's been, like this for the longest. Now, unless the work week shifts and then all of a sudden we you know, start to go or start the week off on a Wednesday, then I foresee Wednesday becoming the new Monday because the day of the week doesn't really matter. It's all about the start of something. Now, it could be the start of a new job, the continuation of going to a job that's not giving you what you want. It could be a relationship, having to wake up and start all over again with a relationship that's not serving you, knowing that by the end of the day something might go wrong. You might get into an argument, you know things aren't going to go the way you want them to go, but you expect them to go a certain way, and it's usually a negative expectation that leads to a heart attack. And most people, when they go to work or before they get to work, they expect them to take on some stress once when they get there. Yes, you might be great at your job, you might be pretty proficient, and you know that by the end of the day, you're going to get the job done. But it's just the idea of having to do that job or having to be around those people that, add to your stress level. Having to take the phone calls if you're in customer service. Now, I used to be in customer service. I did it for 6 years, taking phone calls for a, cell phone company, having to listen to customers who either couldn't pay their bill or didn't want to pay their bill on time, or a person who might have had a phone issue. They damaged their phone. Something was a problem for them that they had to call in, and I had to be the one to listen to that problem and then help provide a solution. So that right there, that type of industry, that type of niche is something that's, it requires specific skills and it requires a specific type of person. And, you know, there's a term that kind of it's not for customer service, in the office type people, but there's a term called going postal. That's related to the post office. That's one of the most stressful jobs there is, right? Having to not only deal with customers, but hey, some postal workers, they have to deal with animals running from dogs, being chased. They're going to deliver the mail. It might be an angry person that they have to walk up to their yard and deliver them the mail to, or it might be a dog on the porch that doesn't allow them to get to the mailbox. So now they have to figure it out. So it's stressful, whatever it is. But in that particular industry, the stresses have been so widespread and well known that when somebody goes postal, so to speak, you know that they've snapped and they decided to do something crazy. So that's Mondays, right? But let's get to this. Weekends. There's also a notable incidence of heart attacks during the weekend, particularly on Saturday, likely due to lifestyle factors such as alcohol consumption and disrupted sleep patterns. Yeah, a lot of people want to stay up later on the weekend because, hey, they don't have to get up and go to work early in the morning the next day. So, they change their patterns, their habits, and, they get into other things. It's time to party. That's why I tell you guys on Friday that, yes, it's Freedom Friday, but don't get stuck in the mindset that this is the end of the week because you will end up feeling weak at that point. You'll end up going into a slump where you think, "Hey, I'm done. I don't need to do anything else." And that can actually, lead to possible heart attack because now you're changing up things. You're disrupting certain aspects of your life. Just like when a person reaches a certain age, when they get to that retirement age and they decide, hey, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm just going to stop doing I'm gonna stop going to work. Now, unfortunately, for the majority of people, their 9 to 5 or 9 to 8 job is the most consistent thing in their lives. They might not even like it, but it's the most consistent thing. They might not like their coworkers, but their coworkers are the most consistent thing in their lives. So whether they like it or not, most people are still living to experience the things that they don't like. So even disrupting that pattern, retiring, getting to a certain point where you just happen to quit, that can cause a disruption, and that could also lead to a heart attack, or you just no longer having a purpose. So when you don't have a purpose, then the next thing is there's no need for you to actually be here. It is what it is. So there's various things to pull from this. Now, this right here is interesting also. Months of the year. Winter months. Heart attack rates are generally higher in the winter months, particularly in December and January. The cold weather causes blood vessels to constrict, which can increase blood pressure and the risk of a heart attack. Additionally, stress from the holiday season and changes in physical activity levels may contribute. Okay, so do you know of anybody or any situation where people just, seem like they're a little bit more on edge during the winter months, particularly as it states December and January? We got Christmas, we got the New Year's. For Christmas, everybody feels obligated to buy somebody something for Christmas. A lot of times the stress and the anxiety is I got to get either my spouse or I got to get the kids something, but either I don't have enough money to get it, or I don't know exactly what to get them that they will really like. It's some anxiety, some stress, some things that build up that adds to, stress once again, pressure. You start, going through after November and being around Thanksgiving, you start eating more, right? So Thanksgiving kicks it off. You have a good Thanksgiving. And even at Thanksgiving, you sitting there eating with the family and friends, and you're thinking about, okay, well, we had we had turkey for Thanksgiving, so on Christmas, you know, the feast is going to be this. Have you ever had those conversations with family and friends where you're talking at Thanksgiving about what's going to happen at Christmas? Oh, we gonna keep it light come Christmas. We're not going to eat this much on Christmas, right? But does that often happen, or do you continue on and Christmas ends up being just as big as Thanksgiving? So that time frame, physical changes. You stop going to the gym because hey, it's cold outside. I don't want to get up and go to the gym. It's not too enjoyable to do that. So your physical activity levels may contribute to this also at that time. And then look what it says in summer months. Some studies have shown an increase in heart attacks during hot summer days, particularly in July and August, due to dehydration, increased physical exertion, and heat stress. So, your physical being is just about everything. So, either you're not active enough, which could cause the issue, or you're doing too much. You're overexerting yourself, and that's causing the stress and everything else. You're dehydrated. You're not drinking enough water. It's too hot. It's always something. So you feel a little uncomfortable. Me, um, particularly, I'm a little mixed. I prefer the springtime. I prefer the time like around now, around my birthday, whereas, I can go outside with a long sleeve and still feel the breeze, feel cool, or I can have a jacket on, take the jacket off, you know. But when it's smoldering heat, it's like there's not much you can do. I'm not walking outside without my shirt on. You know, I don't have the six pack abs and all that kind of stuff. So I've never had that. So I'm not walking around shirtless. But even on those hot days like that, for the people that do walk around shirtless, hey, 9,500 degrees outside is still 9,500 degrees with or without a shirt on. So you can't really do too much unless you're walking around with the portable fan or something like that and you staying under the AC is limited. But in the wintertime, the heat and stuff like that and the cold, that could be better adjusted. Put on more layers in the wintertime. You know, take it off if you start to feel a little too hot. So you can, monitor that and adjust it a little bit better. Now, let's go down to this section here. Time of day. Early morning hours, 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. Heart attacks are most likely to occur in the early morning hours. This is due to the body's circadian rhythm, which causes an increase in blood pressure, heart rate, and the tendency for blood clots to form during this time. So, on average, we talk about like how the average workday starts in, we say a 9 to 5. So, at that 9 o'clock hour, so that's right in between 6 a.m. and 12 p.m., that's when, it's the anxiety and the pressure and everything is at its peak. It's kind of like the middle of the week. It's kind of like Wednesday for the time for the morning hours. It's that hump day. It's that time when you start to feel that stress and you like, man, I just got started this day and my first 2 hours of getting up or whatever, my first 3 hours of the day, it's not starting off too good. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. A lot of people will say, you know, I didn't get enough sleep, whatever it is. And then you're thinking about what the next, 3 hours of rest of your day is going to look like. And you're like, man, I hope everything goes a little bit better. But based off what's occurring so far, I don't have as much hope for the rest of the day. So that stress and that anxiety starts to cause that increase in blood pressure, heart rate, and look at it, the tendency for blood clots to form during this time. Now, a lot of these things, these are emotions. These are emotional type of reactions. Your blood pressure rising, heart rate rising. Yes, that's a physical manifestation or physical reaction to a emotional situation. And emotions can be controlled with specific mindset. So once again, everything does boil back down to mindset. So mindset can help you be physically fit. It can help you overall, and it can help you avoid certain situations that might lead to a possible heart attack, right? So it says here late evening, 6 p.m. to midnight. There's also a secondary peak in heart attack occurrences during the late evening hours, possibly linked to stress from the day and lifestyle habits like smoking or drinking. Yeah, a lot of people, hey, they come home from work, stressful day. The first thing that they want to do is have a glass of wine or, have a drink, take a shot or whatever, and they want to relax. They do these things in hopes of getting relaxation. They do these things thinking that it's going to be something that relieves their stress. But what also happens is while you're going through that, you're enjoying your drink. Some people start to reflect on their day. Man, today was horrible. Man, I can't believe Bob did this. I can't believe Sally said that. This customer, that customer, and then you know if you're in a relationship, and you have that spouse that comes home and every day there's a new situation at the job and you have to be that listening ear and you sitting like, yeah, what happened with Bob today? What happened with Sally today? You're anticipating that this hasn't been a good day for your spouse. And you guys are just talking it over. Stress and anxiety transfers from one person to another. You could be stressing out your mate with the with your daily activities. They don't even have to be there in the office with you. But as soon as you start yelling and screaming about, can you believe what this person said or did? Now you got your mate, their blood pressure is starting to go up too. Their anxiety is starting to go up too because now you're transferring that to them. Can you believe what this person did? When they did that, I was about to do this. I could have did that. What a blah 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 blah. And your mate sitting there looking like, please, please, please don't do that. Please. I don't want to have to come get you out of any type of situation. They're thinking, I hope tomorrow goes better for you. But the patterns, they say to themselves, man, seem like it's not getting any better at that job for you. But yeah, there's so many different factors. Then we go to geographical distribution, states. So different states. So there's so many demographics and calculations, and this is so valuable for more than what we're talking about. We're talking about heart attack statistics, but we're all also talking about analytics, paying attention to analytical details. Kind of like in that beginning training, right? We're talking about email marketing in that beginning training. What's important and what's valuable. The CTOR, the click through open rate. There's so many other things to pay attention to, but what's really valuable? What will help you get from one level to another, right? But there's so many different factors in every aspect of life that you have to become an analytical type of person in order to navigate everything that life throws at you. So that's the main point that I want you guys to get. I want you to see the value in valuable information. So geographical distribution states. Listen to this. Southern states. The highest rates of heart attacks are typically found in the southern United States, including states like Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. This is often linked to higher rates of obesity, diabetes, and smoking, along with dietary factors. Now, this is crazy. This is crazy because this document I created over a year ago. But what just recently happened in Louisiana? Just a couple of days ago or a day ago, there was a mass situation that took the lives of 8 young people in Louisiana. So it happens in various states, it happens all over the world. But it's interesting. Louisiana was in the news just this week. Just this week, there was a mass situation in Louisiana. So stats aren't just stats just for purposes of throwing things out there. Stats are things that you need to pay attention to because they will help guide you. And things aren't, you know, always cut and dry, but there's usually correlations. There's usually things that can help you identify how you can get better or what is causing you to get worse. So, obesity, diabetes, smoking, dietary factors, economic situations, more so in the South than in the North. It's the statistics say that more people there are higher wages or higher earnings in more northern states than southern states. And southern states is more country like. um there's less economic opportunity in a lot of southern states. So financial situations could be a major factor in, what goes on in southern states, right? So let's see what it says here. Northeastern states. Now, what they gonna say about, I see New York right there. So what they gonna say about my home state? It's a lot of stress in that situation too. So states like New York and Pennsylvania also have relatively high heart attack rates, potentially due to high population density, urban stress, and lifestyle factors. It's understandable. Now, knowing how it is in New York, for example, imagine, you know, as they say, the city that never sleeps. Imagine living in a place where 1 o'clock in the morning, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, round the clock, 24/7. Things never stop. You live in a city and there's constantly noise outside. Now I'm from Long Island. Now it's not as densely populated as the city, New York City, right? But it still didn't sleep. You know, before I came to Virginia, I used to go to sleep to the sound of, hearing people outside, cars riding by all the time, people still having conversations and doing what they do 11, 12, 1, 2 in the morning and stuff like that, right? Ambulances, cop cars, you know, it got to a point where that just became, our normal. You know, you go to sleep to the sound of gunshots. And then when I moved to Virginia, I had to get used to the quiet of being in a, more of a country like environment. The sound of the birds chirping, you know, the sound of crickets, no sirens or less sirens, being able to go to sleep in silence and not, not having those sounds, those familiar sounds put you to sleep. Sometimes in the beginning, I used to get worried, like, man, why is it so quiet out here? What is going on? It's kind of like watching a movie and it's about to get to that climactic scene and everything starts to go kind of quiet. Then the music starts creeping in real low and you're like, okay, I know something's about to happen. As compared to throughout the movie, everything's high octane and, people's talking, conversations, things are moving, and you just going with the flow. But yeah, living in a dense population, living in a project building where you have neighbors over top of you, neighbors to the left, to the right of you, and the noise never stops. Coming outside your apartment and seeing people in the hallways, seeing people do this, that, and the third, and you know, you trying to get to your destination, you come back home, same thing going on. You just trying to make it into your apartment, close the door, hope that nothing happens. I lived in Queens for the early part of my life, and the building that me and my mom lived in, that it was a hood building. Shoot, the people in there, the building got raided a couple of times because there was activities going on in that building that we didn't take part in, but the other people that lived in there, they took part in it. Police knocking on the door, hey, looking for suspects to this, that, and the third, and we like, we don't know nothing. We don't know nothing about what's going on. We just happen to live here. Situations like that could be stressful and it could add to you know, the heart attack rate. You living somewhere and you hear sirens and you're like, oh man, what's going on? Is there a mass situation going on? Is somebody about to, do something crazy? Has something crazy already happened and now I have to be on guard? There's so many different factors, right? So demographics and culture is next. Age. The risk of heart attacks increases significantly with age. People over the age of 65 account for the majority of heart attack cases. Gender. Men have a higher risk of heart attacks at a younger age compared to women. However, after menopause, a woman's risk increases and becomes more comparable to that of men. Ladies, y'all going through it. Race and ethnicity. This right here is a tough one. Hey, it is what it is. African Americans have a higher incidence of heart attacks compared to white Americans, partly due to higher rates of hypertension, diabetes, and obesity. Hispanic Americans have a lower overall incidence of heart attacks, but may experience worse outcomes due to less access to healthcare. Interesting. Asian Americans typically have a lower risk of heart attacks, but those who do have heart attacks often have worse outcomes due to underdiagnosis or misdiagnosis. So some of these things right here between, let's say, Hispanic Americans and Asian Americans, that can be due to language barriers. I've seen these situations happen a lot of times. Cultural differences as far as people, hey, I'm going to be to myself. We do things ourselves. I'm from a place where, black and Hispanics, we commingle and everything like that. So we got it in, we struggled together and everything like that. And a lot of Hispanics, it was funny back in the day, like the whole thing was, the saying, we speak no English. We know Poppy spoke English, but he just didn't want to speak to you. He didn't want to correspond with you. That's just how it was. So a lot of times people not seeking help, not even getting a diagnosis because they don't want to be a part of your particular what you got going on. I don't want to speak to you. I don't want to go to the doctor where they speak English or whatever, or it might be someone that's outside of my culture and they might look at me funny or, discriminate against me. So I don't even want to be a part of that. So they, avoid those type of situations. So there's a lot of things that can contribute. Socioeconomic status. Individuals with lower socioeconomic status have higher rates of heart attacks. This is linked to factors such as higher levels of stress, limited access to health care, poor diet, and higher rates of smoking and physical inactivity. All of these things, contribute. Now, I'm going to stop right here. Because I'm looking at the time. It's 9:58 a.m. EST. This document goes on to give more information, and it also gives a list. Here are 25 ways to relieve stress to reduce the chances of a heart attack. So I want to identify the things that cause it, but just like any online marketer, just like you and your business, you present a product or service, whatever. It's on you to identify your target audience. And the way to identify them is to put their situation right there in front of them so that they can identify with what it is that you have to offer. Do you feel certain stresses certain times of the year? Does the idea of Christmas and New Year's, give you a little bit of anxiety? Does certain times of the day give you a little bit more anxiety than others? Can you relate to any of this information in this particular document? Now, if you can relate to any of these things that's listed here, if that's something that, you're saying to yourself, yeah, 6 a.m., when that alarm clock rings, I'm feeling this way. If you can relate to that, then maybe one of those 25 solutions that's at the bottom will be helpful to you. If you're part of any of these demographics, we're headed into the summer months. Now, just like with everything, there's cycles. And I know you've been around long enough. If you're watching, hopefully you're at least 18 years or older. That means that you've been around for at least 18 of these cycles. And a lot of these situations aren't new to you. You might have remembered what last summer felt like when it got hot. A lot of times, depending on where you live, you like, man, it's about to be as Fabulous say, it's about to be a cold summer. Meaning that we know that once when it start getting hot, drama start popping off, things start getting, crazy. You know that you're gonna be indulging in certain activities, and you might already psychologically on your subconscious know what you're going to experience come these summer months. And now you want to be able to change that. So being equipped with some skills, some solutions that might help you get through the summer months, you might want to take advantage of that now, right? Get yourself prepared for the summer. And if that's you, then I want you to comment Monday. Put Monday in the comment section, and I'll send you this exclusive document so that you can get those tips and find out how you can protect yourself a little bit better if you relate to any of these situations. I have one specific thing listed here that will help you no matter what situation you're in, and it will help add value to your life and help you in this particular case. But you have to get access to the document, which is absolutely free, in order to see what that is and be able to experience that possible relief. So with that, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's live. I'm gonna get ready to do what I have to do, and hopefully you've gotten value out of this. Hopefully this has been one of the most informative, most edutainment filled, lives that you've ever been a part of. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Now, I'm gonna pull up our closer as usual so that we can maintain that consistency. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
Woke up to silence, dreams still heavy. Phone screen dry, but my vision stays steady. Mama said, baby, that job ain't your lane. But I clocked in anyway, chasing someone else's gain. That got me dancing with denial at night. Scrolling for hope, but it's hidden from sight. 10 minutes a day, sounded small at first. But in silence, even whispers can quench a thirst. Notebook in hand, wrote my future in ink. Mapped out my mission before I started to sink. Every post was a prayer, every share had weight. I wasn't selling a link, I was shifting fate. I found my rhythm in the quietest place, where hustle meant healing and grind meant grace. From the corner of doubt, I carved my space. Legacy ain't loud, but it wins the race. 10 minutes a day, brick by brick, built from the bottom, now the vision stick. No hype, no cap, just clarity. This ain't just income, it's legacy. Every click, every song I create etches my name where they can't erase. You can doubt, but you gon' see. 10 minutes a day turned into legacy. People laugh, said she doing too much. to my PayPal ping, then they changed up the touch. No big brand, no six-figure crew, just a mic, some lyrics, and a dream that grew. Tired of waiting for the gatekeeper's call, so I built my own stage, held my own hall. Suno on deck, that's the beat in my chest. GPT spin like I'm born to impress. Said I'd never make it, cool, noted. But now my bars turn pain into coated. From broken to branded, I ain't asked for fame, I asked for freedom and I claim my name now. Hustle berry on loop like healing chance for the girls who grew up with limited chance. This is more than a challenge, it's breaking the chain, cause 10 minutes a day rewired my brain. 10 minutes a day, brick by brick, built from the bottom, now the vision stick. No hype, no cap, just clarity. This ain't just income, it's legacy. Every click, every song I create etches my name where they can't erase. You can doubt, but you gon' see. 10 minutes a day turned into legacy. Now my daughter sees me different, eyes full of fire. She said, Ma, your words lift me higher. This ain't a hustle, this a heart-led path, where math meets message and message meets math. Community over clicks, value over hype. I ain't here to trend, I'm here to type blueprints for the ones still stuck in fear. Let them borrow